Patterns, written and voiced by Governor Flo. Introduction. You didn't press play by accident. This found you, like a whisper you couldn't ignore, like a loop you got tired of living in. And if we're being honest, you've been repeating the same emotions, the same reactions, the same stuck feelings, in different seasons, with different people, but the same root. That's not failure. That's not fate. That's a pattern. And here's the thing about patterns. They're not who you are. They're who you learn to be. Learn through survival, through repetition, through coping, through culture, through chaos you didn't choose. But what was once protection is now limitation. What helped you survive is now stopping your rise. This audiobook? It's a sacred interruption. It's a pattern breaker. It's you, finally, choosing something new. We're not just going to talk about habits and goals. We're going deeper, into the programming, into the wiring, into the inherited beliefs and emotional rituals that have been driving your life from the back seat. The goal isn't to fix you. You're not broken. The goal is to bring awareness to what's been automatic, because the subconscious doesn't care if a pattern is good or bad. It just runs what it knows. And babe, it's time to rewire what it knows. So come in, lay your defenses down, bring your journals, your jaw tension, your eye rolls, your grandmother's voice in your head. Bring all of it. There's nothing here to perform for. You're in the temple now. And the truth? You've never been more ready. Let's unravel what shaped you so you can reshape what's next. Stay in flow, move with intention, and remember, patterned behavior isn't your prison unless you stay unaware. Let's begin. Chapter 1. What are patterns? Woven by thread, like memory. Patterns. They're not just routines or bad habits. They're the spiritual, emotional, and psychological loops that shape the way you see the world, speak to yourself, and show up in your life. They're the code behind the curtain. Have you ever caught yourself reacting before you can even think? Or choosing the same kind of partner with a different face? Or spiraling into shame over something small? That's a pattern. And here's the wild part. Most of the time, it's not even your pattern. It's inherited, observed, repeated, reinforced. See, your nervous system isn't just storing your memories, it's storing your family's emotional DNA. The arguments you witnessed, the silences you learned to shrink into, the tension you normalized in your chest, the hone you mimic without knowing why. By the time you're 10 years old, your mind has already written most of your default programming. That means, unless you pause and get conscious, you'll spend adulthood just repeating the emotions of your childhood. In new clothes, new jobs, new zip codes, and you'll call it reality. But it's not reality. It's rhythm. It's repetition. It's a pattern. Let's talk neuroscience real quick. Your brain is wired for efficiency, not evolution. It runs patterns because patterns save energy. If it can loop you through a behavior you've done 1,000 times, even if it's destructive, it will just to save mental energy. That's why awareness is your first act of rebellion. Because the brain doesn't change with motivation, it changes with repetition, with presence, with truth. So, what is a pattern? A pattern is a subconscious loop made from repeated behavior, reinforced emotion, and stored memory. And if you want to change your life, you have to first witness the loop without judging yourself for living in it. Let me give you a real one. There was a time in my life when I'd wake up already bracing for disappointment, like joy had an expiration date. Even when things were going well, my body would flinch, because the pattern was, if it's good, something bad must follow. That's trauma, babe. That's nervous system memory. And until I healed that loop, no success felt safe. That's the danger of unconscious patterns. They rob joy. They rehearse pain. They block expansion. But here's the light in it. If it was learned, it can be unlearned. If it were repeated, it could be rewritten. Patterns aren't destiny. They're data, clues, maps, evidence of where you've been, not where you're forced to stay. And when you start to recognize the pattern, you get to interrupt it gently, daily, intentionally, because you're not here to relive your past. You're here to redesign your future. So the question isn't, what's wrong with me? The question is, what pattern am I in right now, and do I still choose it? Are you ready to get honest with the patterns you've been running? Let's go deeper. Chapter 2: Patterned Pain. The familiar default. Let's talk about pain. Not the kind you can put a band-aid on, the kind that echoes, the kind that you're not enough, right when you're about to rise, the kind that's not new, just rehearsed. See, most of us aren't walking around wounded, we're walking around patterned. Self-doubt? It's a pattern. Procrastination? A pattern. Overgiving, overspending, overthinking, staying too long, shrinking too small, all of it. Patterned pain. We're not broken, we're coded, and unless we learn to decode the programs running in the background, we'll keep calling survival strategy personality and dysfunction destiny. You weren't born afraid to speak up. That came from being shushed. You weren't born thinking love meant proving your worth. That came from chasing someone who made you earn scraps. You weren't born fearing success. That came from seeing what success cost the women and men before you. Pain didn't start with you, but if you're listening to this, I'm asking you to end it with you. Because pain, when ignored, becomes a pattern, and a pattern, when repeated, becomes a prison. Let's get nerdy for a second. The brain is lazy. Smart, but lazy. It loves predictability. So when something painful happens, abandonment, betrayal, chaos, your brain takes notes. It creates shortcuts. Oh, this is what love looks like. Oh, this is how we stay safe, stay small, stay silent. Every repeated emotional reaction becomes a neural groove. And if it grooves deep enough, that becomes your go-to. That's why we self-sabotage when we're happy, why we ghost good people, why we scroll instead of sleep, why we waste energy instead of sow it within ourselves, not because we're flawed, because we're too familiar with pain and its annoying family members. Take Maya. Maya always attracted emotionally unavailable men. She thought her picker was broken, but babe, it wasn't her picker, it was her pattern. As a child, Maya learned love meant reaching. So as an adult, she was addicted to the chase, the silence, the if I can just be good enough, he'll choose me story. Or take Dre, big energy, brilliant, but every time success came knocking, he accidentally missed the call. Turns out success reminded him of pressure, of being the responsible one too young. His nervous system didn't crave achievement, it craved relief. These aren't just habits, these are unhealed scripts, the patterns that drain us. Let's name the usual suspects. The procrastination pop? Not laziness, it's self-protection disguised as delay. The people-pleasing cousin, trauma wrapped in politeness. The overspending auntie, not poor money habits, often a need for control or comfort. The overworking unk, worthiness wounds on autopilot. The shutting down big mama, the emotional hangover from never feeling safe to open up. Each one a strategy, each one with a source, each one ready to be rewritten. The pain isn't new, the pattern is just loud. That's your cue to heal. You can't change what you won't face, but you can face what you understand. Awareness is sacred, but awareness alone isn't freedom. We need to interrupt the loop, break the trance. Pattern pain thrives on repetition, so healing begins with disruption. When the voice in your head says, "You'll never get it right," you pause and whisper, "That's not my voice. That's my mother's fear. That's my ex's projection. That's my pop's procrastination. That's not truth, that's trauma." You breathe. You reclaim. You re-choose. If something in you feels called out, good. This chapter isn't shade, it's sunlight. And sunlight reveals the cracks where the gold settles in. You don't have to be ashamed of the patterns that shaped you, but you do have to take responsibility for the ones you repeat. You're not stuck, you're rehearsing, and you're allowed to rewrite the script. Stay tuned. Next up, we take a flow break, then shift into the magic of positive patterns. Because once we see what pain built, we get to decide what love rebuilds. This is Temple of Flow, with Governor Flow. Stay in flow. I want you to focus on my voice for a moment. Clear your mind and follow me. Breathe in, breathe out. Again, in through the nose, out through the mouth. Let it all go. You are not broken. You are not behind. You are not bound to the patterns that kept you safe once, but now cost too much. Your nervous system is not your enemy. It's your historian. It remembers everything. But you, babe, you get to rewrite what gets repeated. So let's interrupt the loop. Let's stop the scroll, the shame, the cycle, and re-choose. Repeat after me, slowly with intention. I am not my pain. I am my power. I release the loops that lie to me. I remember who I am. I choose peace on purpose. Again, repeat. I interrupt the cycle. I pause the pattern. I breathe. I return. I rise. Breathe in your future. Breathe out your past. It's safe to reset. It's safe to be free. It's safe to begin again. Stay in flow. Chapter 3: Positive Patterns. Let's switch frequencies. We've stared down the shadow, felt the sting of old stories, and seen how patterned pain can keep us small, stuck, and scared. But babe, this chapter right here, this is the redemption. This is the reframe. This is the gold growing in the grooves of your brain. Let's talk about positive patterns. Patterns don't have to hurt. They don't have to haunt you. In fact, they can hold you, structure you, stretch you, soothe you, and show you how to walk in rhythm with your future self. We don't just survive with patterns, we evolve with them if we choose the right ones. And let's be clear, positive patterns aren't about perfection, they're about alignment. They're not cute Pinterest routines or hustle culture lies wrapped in faux spirituality. They're sacred personal rituals, systems of support, choices that whisper, "You are safe now," to a nervous system that once only knew survival. This is the new self-care. It's not all bubble baths and journal prompts. It's choosing peace even when chaos knocks. Let me paint the picture. The brain, it's not fixed. It's plastic, meaning it bends, adapts, learns, and unlearns. Neuroscience calls it neuroplasticity, the brain's ability to create new pathways, new highways for your habits. So imagine this. Every time you choose stillness over stress, gratitude over grumbling, boundaries over burnout, you're laying down a new groove, a new route to the life you say you want. Your peace becomes your pattern. Your healing becomes your habit. Your power becomes your default. Let me break it all the way down. A positive pattern might look like morning silence before the world floods your mind, drinking water before caffeine hits your veins, saying no without writing a TED Talk apology afterward, reading something nourishing before bed instead of doom scrolling, speaking kindly to yourself when you mess up instead of weaponizing shame. These might seem small, but small patterns repeated, that's a revolution. And if you've been addicted to struggle, chaos, drama, and survival, peace will feel boring at first. Success will feel suspicious. Stillness will feel like a threat. But that's just your body adjusting to a new rhythm. Don't confuse unfamiliar and unknown with unsafe. Let's talk boundaries. Whew, the pattern of overgiving? That's a hard one to break. But every time you hold a boundary, you rewire the belief that love equals sacrifice. Let me say that again. Every time you honor your limits, you teach your nervous system that love and depletion are not the same thing. That's pattern alchemy. That's inner wealth. Another one? Joy. Joy is a sacred pattern, and you don't have to earn it. You don't have to be productive first. Joy is the frequency that tells your brain, we made it out. We survived. We're allowed to dance now. Put joy on the schedule. Let delight be your discipline. Positive patterns are not one size fits all. They're soul fitted. What soothes me might stretch you. What grounds you might grow someone else. But the point is, you choose. You become the designer of your daily life. You pick the patterns. You plant them. You water them. And one day you wake up and realize you don't recognize your old self. Because peace is now your pulse and freedom is your flavor. Let's make this plain and simple. You ready? If trauma rewired you for survival, then love can rewire you for thriving. Let that be your pattern. Let that be your prayer. Let that be your plan. We don't repeat what we don't repair. So build what you need. Repeat what you want more of. Rewire with reverence. This is the power of positive patterns. You're not just healing for yourself, you're healing for the ones who came before you and the ones who will rise after you. And if nobody told you this before, let me say it softly and loudly at the same time. You are worthy of routines that restore you. You are allowed to feel safe, steady, and sacred. You are not too broken to build again. Stay in flow. Chapter 4, The Pattern Trap. Let's talk about the trap. Because awareness isn't always a passport to freedom. Sometimes it's the doorway to frustration. This is what nobody tells you. Waking up to your patterns is only the beginning. What comes next is where most people fall off, not because they're weak, but because they've been taught to believe that knowing better means doing better. But babe, that's not how the nervous system works. We're about to decode the 4 most common traps that keep us spinning in the same loops, even after the therapy, the affirmations, the podcasts, and the 90-day vision boards. Yeah, we're going there. Trap number 1, thinking awareness is enough. You've read the books, you've journaled until your pen ran dry, you can name your trauma in 5 languages and quote meditations and affirmations in your sleep. But you're still reacting the same way when your boundaries are tested. Still shutting down when things get real, still ghosting your greatness. Here's the truth. Understanding the pattern does not automatically heal it. Awareness without embodiment is just mental gymnastics. Your body still thinks the old pattern is safe, and until you teach your nervous system a new response, not just talk about it, you'll keep knowing better while doing the same damn thing. Trap number 2, mistaking personality for programming. I'm just like this. No, that's just me. Nah, I don't do vulnerability. I've always been an asshole. I've always been an introvert. Pause. Is it really your personality, or is it protection dressed up in personality's clothes? You weren't born guarded. You weren't born detached, passive-aggressive, overly independent, a bully, overly accommodating, or emotionally unavailable. Those are downloaded traits, survival programs your younger self installed to feel safe. You don't need to judge them, but you do need to stop worshiping them like they're your identity. Come on now. Some of us have built entire personalities around avoiding pain. It's like our own self-created matrix. Trap number 3, relapsing under pressure. Ever felt like you were healing until life got lifey? The moment stress shows up, boom, you're back in the loop. The self-sabotage, the shutdown, the binge, the text you shouldn't have sent, the let me go back one more time just to see if they've changed phase. This doesn't mean you failed. It means you've hit a threshold where your healing hasn't been stress tested yet. Nervous systems don't rewire in calm. They rewire under pressure. That's when the real work begins. That's where we anchor the new pattern in the storm. So don't beat yourself up for the relapse. Use it as intel. Use it as a portal. Use it as proof that you're still in the fight. Trap number 4. Wanting transformation without discomfort. Now this one is going to sting a little, babe, but it's from love. A lot of folks want the glow up, the breakthrough, the self-love era, but they don't want to feel the grief that healing brings. They don't want to confront the guilt, the shame, the truth. They want heaven without going through hell's hallway. But real transformation? She's messy. She's not Instagram cute. She's not good time fine. She's tears on your journal. She's shaking in your car after setting a boundary. She's walking away from what you wanted because it's not what you need. Let me say it plain. You don't need another manifestation ritual. You need a nervous system that's not addicted to chaos. You need to learn how to hold peace, not just pray for it. I release the illusion that awareness alone will save me. I embody the truth that change lives in the body, in repetition, in resilience, in rising. Listen, the pattern trap is real, but it doesn't mean you're broken. It means you're human. And now that you see the trap, you don't have to fall into it blindly. Let's keep going. Let's break the loop. Let's rewire the code. We're not just shifting vibes, we're shifting biology. Time to move from knowing into becoming. Say it with me. I am not the story, I am the author. Stay in flow. Chapter 5. Rewrite the code. You've seen the maze. You've heard the echo of your old decisions. Now it's time to become the coder. See, a pattern is just a program, and programs, they run until you rewrite them. And you, beloved, are not just the user. You are the architect. Let's get something straight right now. You do not break patterns by talking about them. You break them by tracing them, facing them, and replacing them. You don't just say, I'm ready to change. You build the pathways for change in your brain, your body, and your beliefs. This is neuroplasticity in real time. You can rewire what you once repeated. Every time you react out of habit, whether it's shutting down, blowing up, aka crashing out, ghosting, overeating, or overspending, you reinforce a neural groove. Your brain says, oh, we've been here before. Let's go with that. It's not because you're weak, broken, or toxic. It's because your nervous system is efficient. But efficiency ain't always aligned with elevation. To rewrite the code, you have to get uncomfortable enough to pause the pattern mid-process. That moment you feel the urge to react, pause, breathe, audit. Ask yourself, is this the past trying to run the present? Is this comfort, or is this sabotage in disguise? This pause, that's the new groove being born. You're literally interrupting a well-worn neurological highway and building a new one slow, intentional thought at a time. Let's give you your pattern rewrite toolbox. Reframing. When you feel triggered, instead of spiraling, ask, what else could be true here? Maybe they're not rejecting you. Maybe they're protecting their own peace. Maybe that delay wasn't denial. Maybe it's divine redirection. Pattern tracking. Journal this for 7 days. What situations activate you? What are your go-to reactions? Where did those reactions begin? Get forensic. Be honest. No shame, just information. CBT rewiring. You can actually reroute the way you think by pairing old thoughts with new affirming truths. Instead of, I always mess things up, say, I'm learning to pause before reacting. Do this consistently, and your brain will adapt. Somatic interruptions. Patterns live in the body too. Tension in the jaw, shoulders tight, chest heavy, hips tight. Shake it out. Move, tap, scream into a pillow if you need to. Let the body discharge what the mind has looped for years. Visualization. Close your eyes and imagine the new version of you, not just doing new things, but feeling new things. Let your brain practice success, joy, softness, and sovereignty before it happens. That's how you get ahead of the pattern. You're not failing just because you're triggered. You're not regressing just because the urge came back. Listen, babe. A pattern showing up is not proof you're stuck. It's proof you're conscious now, and once you're aware, you're no longer a puppet. You're the brilliant programmer. You're not just setting new goals, you're setting new grooves in your brain. This is the deepest form of success, when healing becomes your daily ritual. And softness and charm become your new standard. You are the glitch in the generational matrix, the sacred rewrite. The one who said, it stops with me, and it does. Because you're the author now, and you're writing from power. Free your mind, you are the one. Chapter 6. Ancient Truth. Let's slow it down for a moment. Not everything needs to be hard to be holy. You've done the deep dive, you've faced the patterns, now it's time to breathe into the shift. Integration isn't about doing more. It's about being more with what you now know. Not just knowing the code, but living the rewrite. Not just interrupting the pattern, but embodying the upgrade. This is where we start moving from insight to embodiment. Let this land. No rushing, just reflection. What patterns run your mornings? Is it chaos and reactivity? Or calm and clarity? What patterns run your money? Scarcity, avoidance, overgiving, or aligned stewardship? What patterns run your relationships? Are you chasing, fixing, shrinking, or are you choosing, receiving, or co-creating? Whose patterns are you still carrying that don't belong to you? Your mother's survival? Your father's silence? The world's expectation? And most importantly, what new sacred pattern are you ready to build? Not for aesthetics, not for applause, but for alignment. Pause. Reflect. Don't rush this. Even one honest answer can reset your whole rhythm. Close your eyes if it feels good. Picture yourself waking up 30 days from now, fully in flow. Your mornings feel sacred. Your reactions feel grounded. Your money feels managed. Your peace feels protected. You didn't force this. You didn't hustle your way here. You became this. Let the image anchor you. Let the version of you that's already healed lead. This isn't fantasy, it's future memory. Hear me clearly right now. You don't need more discipline. You need more devotion to your future self. You don't need a new life. You need a new language around the life you already have. Let it be soft. Let it be simple. Let it be sacred. The work you've done today wasn't for ego. It was for evolution. Chapter 7, Modern Magic. You made it! Not just through this audiobook, but through the mere maze of your own mind. You didn't run, you didn't flinch. You stayed with the story long enough to remember that it wasn't yours to carry anymore. So here we are, at the closing portal. I'm so proud of you already. But this isn't the end. It's a reroute, a reclamation. Let me tell you a story of an old coworker of mine. Elijah was 38 when everything in his life turned dark. Marriage on the rocks, bank account negative, panic attacks daily. He was a high performer with low self-worth, a drunk, addicted to chaos, control, and convincing people he was okay. But deep down, he was drowning in silence. One day, he didn't show up to his 9 a.m. meeting, didn't call, didn't fake an excuse, just stopped. Instead, he drove to the coast. No phone, no agenda, just waves, and the version of himself he kept avoiding. For 2 days, he sat with a journal and wrote down every pattern that had been running him. Not just the bad ones, but the invisible ones. He saw the root. He realized he wasn't lazy. He was afraid of peace. Peace felt unsafe to a nervous system raised on drama. He thought peace meant he didn't care about life. So he kept recreating the chaos, relationships, routines, even success that matched the storm he'd grown up in. That moment on the coast, it wasn't a breakdown. It was a pattern collapse. He said he started small. Morning breathwork instead of morning drinks and dread, daily gratitude text to his kids, boundaries that shook the room, quiet walks, cold showers, clarity over codependency. He rewired his habits, and over time, he rewrote his life. I met Elijah when he was in his mid-50s at a restaurant we both worked at, and I've never met a more peaceful, generous, and happy older man. Wise, enlightened. I was around 24 years old at the time, and his vibe has stuck with me to this day. Elijah didn't become someone else. He just stopped rehearsing a survival script that wasn't his. And that made space for the real him to rise. So I ask you now, what would your life look like if you stopped making room for patterns that shrink you? What opens up when you no longer mistake your wounds for your identity? What's waiting for you on the other side of the loop? You are not broken. You are patterned. And now you're awake to that pattern. And babe, you're not here to repeat the past. You're here to recode it. Let's speak this into your bones one last time. You are not behind. You are becoming. You are not trapped. You are transforming. You are not your patterns. You are the author. And now, you hold the pen. This has been Temple of Flow, written and voiced by Governor Flow. Ancient truths, modern magic. Stay in flow with purpose. Governor Flow.